Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Childcare Director's Chair, where Erica Saccoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Childcare Director's Chair.
Hey, welcome back to the Childcare Director's Chair. I know I've been gone for a while. For those of you who have listened to our podcast, I have been going on and off with colds and COVID and just really not being able to recharge myself. It was getting to a point where medically and physically, I was just done. And there's so many of you like me out there. We give our all every day to the children and the families and our staff. And we really should be good stewards of the people in our care. But I do think sometimes we forget the importance of taking care of ourselves, or this need to be superwoman or superhero and take care of everybody's problems and take on all their energy and all of their strife to help alleviate that for them. But at what cost? I wonder if I statistically looked up the rates of high blood pressure, stroke, stress, anxiety, depression for those of us in the early childhood field. I would say particularly owners, and I know that might strike a chord for some of you. I know being a director is definitely a hard job. I'm not making any qualms about that. But being an owner is also equally hard, and I would even beg to differ a little harder. You see, a director, when they've had enough, they can walk out. They can quit. They can have a new job tomorrow. Not quite so easy for a childcare owner. You see, at the end of the day, if something goes horribly wrong, it's you who pays the price. Your family who pays the price. And, that's a lot of responsibility. And you know that as you take on the responsibility of a childcare center as an owner. But there's just so much more to it. It's more than budgets. It's more than taking care of your people. It's more than hiring, qualified, high-quality staff and running a high-quality program. You are the leader of your program. And so by example, your staff are going to do or expect to do what it is that you role model for them. So, maybe if you're coming in sick or you're the first one there and the last one to leave, yeah, that could possibly show dedication, but it could also show a lack of love for yourself, a lack of love for your own family, missing your kids' games or coming home late every night and missing family dinner with your family. And, if you're like me, you really strive to be the best. You really strive to have the best programming and the best reputation and provide the best for your students. But are you providing the best for you? And so it is with finding that elusive balance that I record this podcast today, sitting at a health and wellness retreat. You see, about a week ago, I was sitting with a stranger who had come in for an interview. It was a wonderful gentleman. And he talked to me about being semi-retired. And he worked in the school systems, and he worked for charter schools, and he worked with superintendents. And this was a very educated gentleman. And he spoke with such kindness and wisdom and understanding and intuitive just of the situation. And so the interview ended up turning into a counseling session for me. And as we talked, he said, I hear you say, as you explain your company, your dedication and all the things that you put in place or striving to do to bring your program to the next level. He says, but I can also see we're very similar. And he explained to me that he was semi-retired because of health reasons and that he has met with many doctors, and several of the doctors had said that there was not much more that they could do for him with traditional medication, or traditional medicine. And so, he said, you have to care for yourself. You have to do the work to be able to continue to do the work. And that really resonated with me. And surely I've heard, many people who love me, take care of yourself, take some time, you need to rest. But it's so odd that maybe because I heard that so often from people who I knew loved and cared about me, I maybe was dismissive of it. But here was this gentleman who I just met. He didn't know me, but he could instantly tell that I needed more. I needed to do something for me. I was at a point where I needed more than a bubble bath or a 45-minute massage or a trip to the gym. I needed to take care of me in a way that was going to make a lasting change. And so with that, I did some research on a couple wellness retreats, and I finally selected it. It was the total opposite of other spas, if you will, that I've been to in New England. I booked a plane ticket across the country. I am now sitting in a hotel room recording from Arizona. It is the last day of my trip. I totally have unplugged. I hadn't been really on Facebook other than checking in occasionally with my children and family. I did a very quick, maybe 5-minute check-in with my team, and then that was it. I didn't think about work. That was probably the first time in 17 years I didn't think about work. For a whole week, I thought about myself. For a whole week, I looked inside. I didn't want to look outside and what was I going to fix and what new system was I going to need to improve. I didn't do that. And so I'm proud of myself that I didn't do that. I'm not really sure what got me to this point, but there was just something, and maybe it was just the timing. Maybe he just said the right words at the right time. I finished a chapter in my book while here on my retreat. It was so quiet. I only turned on the TV once in a week, and I found that I liked my life maybe a little better without it. I found I liked myself being alone, which it was also the first time I've ever traveled alone in my entire life. I'm a people person, and I'm always surrounded by people. And when you're surrounded by people, you take on also their energy and their thoughts and their feelings and surrounded by that and all that chatter, which is great because I still love people. Probably one of my favorite things in all time is being with people. But I really hadn't tried the other. I really hadn't tried being alone, sitting still, or just being. Now, I know this is a non-traditional, not talking about childcare per se episode. And maybe you say, what the heck am I listening to? And Erica, why are you rambling on? So this episode is probably not for everyone, but it is for you who have neglected yourself, who have not had breakfast, a proper breakfast, in probably a year, who continue to eat animal crackers for lunch, if you eat lunch at all, who continue to not take vacations, not take your sick days, work yourself to the bone. This podcast is for you. See, I want you to live. I want you to be happy. Again, being the leader of your company, you are going to emulate that for your staff. And, maybe we all get here because I'm certainly not the first childcare director to talk about taking care of yourself or business coach saying, you need to, take a step away from your business. I know I'm not the first. I'm sure I won't be the last. But for those who really know me, know this is a big deal. This was a very big deal. And so I want some of it for you because I can't tell you how great I feel. Now, of course, when I go back to reality, which will be happening later today, I'm sure stress and the day-to-day will start to roll in, the reality of not everything is going to be quiet or zen or where you'll be able to shut off other energies. But I think where I focus my energy may shift. I know it shifts. It has already shifted. And so I guess my wisdom for you today is, take that 15 minutes in the morning for yourself. Make that cup of tea. Do that breathing exercise, meditation, morning walk, morning read, whatever it is that fills your soul, because we're all different. Make sure you make a very conscious decision to write on your calendar and pencil yourself in as you would any important meeting. Make sure you do the same for your family. Make sure you're spending time with whether it's your pet, your spouse, your significant other, your partner, your children, your parents, your siblings, your friend that's moved away. Make sure you pencil them in because it's important. It's important for them and it's important for you. And so with that, I hope that you will take a few minutes today and reflect on my words because I know many of us are strangers. And it just took one stranger in my life to take the time to help me see what I couldn't see myself. So with that, I'd like to end today's episode. I hope that you have an amazing day. And again, self-care is not selfish at all, but is necessary to be the best childcare director, leader, and person you can be.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.